Today, you are here with Cam and Alex. This is a segment we like to call 1, 2, 3. Shit Talkin Tuesdayz. We like to talk shit. Today's Shit Talkin Tuesday report is brought to you by Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures.
Masterpiece.
We watched this, and it was real bad. Let's get it started with the premise. The premise of this shit piece of horrible show is that Pac-Man lives in a Pac world full of Pac people.
They broke all the rules in making this.
They got a town full of people that are like Pac-Man, but apparently the yellow Pac people are rare. I guess they're like a rare breed and far superior. But everybody shits on Pac-Man because he's yellow. Because apparently he's the last of his kind. So he's got shit kids in his class just talking shit about him because he's yellow.
It's real messed up.
When he used to be a greater race than the other Pac people.
His parents were the emperors. And just like, they ruled over this town, but they completely forgot about it after they died.
So we open up on Pac-Man in class, and Pac-Man's like, I'll give him like 12 years old, 13 maybe. They don't really say.
They say he's a teenager.
He's a teenager. So yeah, he's a teenager. So I'll give him about 15 years. So his parents are dead at this point, I guess.
You know.
And I guess they died when he was born. So they're asking in class, they're like, all right, the teacher was like, okay, today we're going to talk about ghosts. And this little shit kid's like, oh, we don't believe in ghosts anymore. And the teacher's like, oh, really? And everybody's like, yeah, who believes in ghosts? And the teacher says, who in this class doesn't believe in ghosts? And Pac-Man, or everybody raises their hand. And then she says, who does believe in ghosts? And then Pac-Man raises his hand. First of all, this is my first problem. That would be like you not knowing how to do trigonometry in class and your teacher being like, we're going to learn about trigonometry. And I'm just like, but bullshit. Nope, that doesn't exist. Like, I know more than the teacher because I've never heard of the subject. It doesn't exist. And every other kid just followed suit. They were just like, bullshit. So apparently, the reason why these kids, the reasoning is even worse. The reason why these kids don't believe in ghosts anymore is because they were all trapped in a vortex a long time ago. So there are no ghosts in the Pac Village. That might be why there haven't been many good Pac-Man games out. Because the ghosts are in the vortex. So the ghosts are in this vortex, and all these kids don't know about something that happened 15 years ago. There was this giant war between Pac-Man and ghosts that none of them knew about at all.
It's like not knowing 9/11 happened.
Yeah, because I was in kindergarten. I didn't experience it. So 9/11 didn't just show up on the news or anything else. There was no they didn't see it fit to put, maybe victory propaganda when the kids were young. Like,
it was just a war.
We defeated the ghosts. Flags. Maybe, didn't any of these kids have, grandparents that fought in the war on ghosts?
Nobody remembers.
No one remembers. So, none of these shit kids know history worth a damn. So, Pac-Man raises his hand, and he's like, hey, I've been reading up on ghosts. So there's actually literature published on the damn ghosts.
He has multiple textbooks.
Yeah, stacked high. These kids are like, oh, what a little shit. He still believes in ghosts. With the evidence of literature and a much older person than you telling you about this war, all of these kids, not just one, just all these kids were like, no, nope.
Didn't happen.
I don't believe that. So that's ridiculous in itself. So then some shit happens where we learn that Pac-Man's awesome, apparently, because he's the last yellow
and he eats berries
pack
that, like,
person
nobody else likes.
Yeah. Here's the worst thing, though. You're sitting here thinking, okay, like, poor Pac-Man, we feel bad for him or whatever. And then he turns into the shittiest character ever. He goes in, the next thing they do after class, after everybody's done bullying him, he's like, oh, fuck you assholes, I'm about to go eat everything in the cafeteria. So he runs out, and then the kids go to the cafeteria, and Pac-Man's fat ass is just laying on a table over some goddamn food. And they're like, dude, Pac-Man, you ate all the food. What the hell? And we're supposed to think like, oh, these asshole kids picked on Pac-Man, so they don't deserve to eat.
No. All the hate that they held towards him is completely justified because he ate all the food in the cafeteria.
Like, you feel bad for him for a minute, but then he goes and pulls some sneaky shit like this. So he goes and he eats all the food, and then the one kid, I don't remember his name. There's a big red pack guy. What is his name? Do you remember his name?
It's just his friend.
Yeah, it's his friend.
Yeah.
And he like sticks up for him, and he's like, but Pac-Man ate all the food. And his friend's like, no, he didn't. Don't you got some berries left over? And Pac-Man's like, yeah, I got some berries left over. Just shitting on this kid. Like, so the rest of the Pac world has to eat 4 berries because Pac-Man was a fat shit. So at this point, you're like, damn, what an asshole. So he gets chased down, actually. He gets, later on, the kids are gonna, they chase, the one kid chases him into this giant maze that's right next to the school. They built, this is so stupid, they built a giant maze to conceal something that they didn't want the rest of the town to find next to a school. And there's a tiny sign that says, do not enter, you probably won't come out.
There's
and
a
Pac-Man
number
just
saying how
ran in.
difficult it is.
What?
There's a number on the sign saying how difficult the maze is.
Yeah, because like a level, because it's like, haha. And it's a maze, it's Pac-Man, no, it's funny. It's not. He runs in, and he doesn't see the sign. He's running away from this kid, and the kid's like, oh, haha, I'm going to walk back. So Pac-Man, instead of like coming back out of the maze because he's realized he's lost this kid, just goes further down into the maze, gets lost. And the shit kid that chased him in, which actually isn't that shitty, because Pac-Man ate all the food, so he's pretty much justified, goes back, gets his posse. They all dress up in ghost outfits, and his homies are sitting there. The little girl, he has like a girl pink pack person that he's friends with, and the big red guy. And they're there with the shitty kids, and they're like, yeah, we're going to go and dress up as ghosts, and we're going to scare him because he's a dumbass and believes in ghosts. Still do not want to believe that ghosts exist. I don't know how. They're stupid. Everyone in this show is either an asshole or completely stupid. So they're like, yeah, we're going to go in there and we're going to scare him. And his big red friend is like, no, you shouldn't do that. And they're like, fuck you, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So they go, and they do it anyway, and his friends just are like,
They stand there and let it happen.
Why did they do that, even though we said for them not to?
They just stand there with their dicks out while they let their friend get terrified.
So then the girl is like, what should we do? And the red guy's like, I'm going to go in there and warn him, like after giving him like a 30-second head start. So they give him a 30-second head start. Those guys go in there, and then we see Pac-Man just barreling down a fucking chamber of death, and he falls and he trips and he goes down into this huge vault, and he sees this giant vault, and the vault fucking opens, and then oh shit, it's the void where we kept all the ghosts because his dumb ass got curious as a goddamn cat and went in there and opened the vortex where all the ghosts were. So, hey, guess what? People believe in ghosts now, I guess. So,
There's a fucking news report.
Pac-Man runs back out.
I don't believe in ghosts.
And then he tells his friends, like, oh, shit, ghosts are real, and I just opened the vortex. Sorry, guys. And they're like, no, dude, those were just two assholes chasing you. And he's like, whoa, what about those? And it shows the flight of armada of ghosts overhead, and they're all like, oh, well, ghosts do exist. Who could have guessed that? Then it goes over to a fucking news reporter. This pack woman is, I'm guessing she's paid to know what goes on in Pack World. And she says on her little microphone, oh, the Pack World is being ravaged by ghosts. I don't believe in them, but I guess I gotta keep an open mind. This bitch, this reporter, knows nothing about 15 years ago this happened. 15 years. She was still alive.
The fucking dude is the president's brother.
Why do we not remember what happened 15 years ago? Except for Pac-Man, who has no reason to remember. He's the only one who happens to believe it.
The ignorance of the Pack World is astounding.
It's fucking awful. So he goes and he finds his way. Long story short, he meets the fucking president of Pack World.
Yeah, just meets the president, shows him some secrets.
He, eat some ghosts first?
And then...
Yeah.
He didn't do that yet.
Before
he saved the day, and then they're all like, oh, it's a yellow one, because we didn't know this. And then he meets the president.
Yeah, they got scared of the fucking... They've got scared of him because he was the yellow one, which is, I guess, the prophecy foretold he was going to kill all of them. So he meets the president, and the president is like, look, the only way for you to beat these guys is to eat them. And he's like, what? I don't want to do that. And he's like,
yellow too?
No.
The
president's green and has a mustache.
His parents were yellow.
So he's like, yeah, you're going to have to eat these fucking things. And he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, look, let me tell you a little something. Every Pac-Man has powers. Every Pac person has powers. Fuck. That would be like if the president just recently made an announcement that says, oh, by the way, there's a large amount of fruit on Earth that will give everyone superpowers. I just low-key didn't tell anybody. Like, their own biological mapping was not fully expressed to them. They weren't sure of what they could fully capably do.
This isn't like super special fruit either. It's just natural.
Just natural fruit that grows. I don't know why. Maybe some pack farmers didn't find this out.
Some of it glows. Some of it doesn't.
Plot holes! And then, so he takes him to this big-ass tree of life. And then, oh no, mister, there are ghosts attacking. And the president's like, there are more. I want to tell you about your parents, but we'll have to save that for later. To maybe, I guess, get the viewer, like, interested. Ooh, there's more about his parents we don't know. Even though I don't give a shit.
Nope.
So, they say, Pac-Man, you have to protect this tree. This big-ass tree that has all the fruit on it. He's like, I've got this. Like, let's do it. And his friends were like, all right, we're going to help you too. And he was like, no, back off. You go with the president. I'm going to protect this tree and I'm going to be the shit. And they were like, no, even like, are you sure? Or we should stick together. Just fine, fucking dipped with the president. So then he goes in the tree and he eats the fucking fruit, and then the theme song plays, and he flies around and starts
Pac-Man
eating the fucking things.
Yeah, he just flies around eating all these ghosts, and there's like this super pepped up dub music. It's too crazy.
It's the worst, and he starts sucking up all these ghosts, and the whole time we're sitting here is like, where's Pinky and Clyde and the crew?
He ate them
and we're no, he didn't.
He ate them at the school.
He's the first people they ate.
Yeah.
Then how did they come back to life?
They got a regeneration chamber.
That's the worst.
So why does it matter if he eats the ghost?
Fuck! I didn't even know that. I was like half watching this.
There's no point to killing them.
They regenerate. He ate them at the school, I guess.
The first time.
If you think this sounds really confusing, convoluted, you're just right.
That's just correct.
You're right.
You've now grasped how dumb this is.
Pac-Man.
So I guess that just like in the video game, when you eat them, they go back to the little hub, and then they can. So they're impossible to kill, and I can see why they would put them in a vortex. So he let out this vortex of unstoppable ghosts. So he's fighting, and he's going around, he's killing all these things, and then he sees Pinky in the gang, and Clyde's a fat fuck for no reason. Clyde's just like huge, and Pinky's a little tiny, and they're normal, but
they all got haircuts too.
Clyde's fat for no reason, and he was my favorite. So they ran by, and he was like, "Oh, I see those guys. I'm gonna go chase them, even though there are millions of ghosts all around this tree that I said I was gonna protect. I'm gonna go chase those guys." So he goes and he corners them under a
desk.
The president's desk. And he's like, "All right, I gotta eat you." And they're like, "No, let's be friends." And he was like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Fuck, okay, cool. Guys, we're friends with them now. We killed..." No, he doesn't even say that. He comes up and he's like, "We killed all the ghosts." Like, to his friends, like he just killed them. I guess trying to say that, "Oh, I killed them, but I didn't." And the president's like, "Fuck. Pac-Man, you done goofed." Pac-Man's like, "What's wrong?" Looks at the goddamn window. There are 700 fucking ghosts carrying this ginormous fucking tree.
He had one job.
That Pac-Man swore. He swore he was going to protect this fucking tree.
He left the room. He left them.
He told people that wanted to help him that he fucking had it. And there it goes, just flying down the fucking street. God dang it.
Pac-Man is not somebody you should strive to.
He is a fucking scrub. So they're like, "Yeah, you fucked up." And he's like, "I fucked up." And then everybody's like, "No, you're still the shit because you're yellow." And
he's the one who started.
He literally says to the president, "I started this entire thing by opening the void." The president just doesn't say anything. He's like, "Anyway, your parents were also yellow and they were royalty." Just doesn't. Nobody cares. Why are we giving Pac-Man free passes?
This is the first episode.
If you think about something, like, okay, if you think we have dealt with this situation of ghosts so well that people literally don't remember a time of like havoc and grief within the world, and their grandparents probably died, or maybe even their parents, because it was only 15 years ago. Their parents probably died in wars like this, and maybe it's just a people that are unifying and trying to forget and make a better life, because that reality is so far from them. And this little yellow piece of shit opens the gate to hell, where all of the ghosts now are on Earth that you can't kill unless it's him. And there's only one. Apparently, only the yellow ones can deal with the ghosts. And now there's only one. Maybe later down the road in the show there will be more. But for right now, there's only one. That just seems like an impossible job.
Namco did us dirty with this show. They've come out with many good things. They've got us Galaga, Dig Dug, all that shit. They did us dirty with this.
They did it dirty.
They ruined Pac-Man.
I want to see a Dig Dug show. Where it's just a dude in a fucking jumpsuit blowing up animals. And I want it to be real badass. Like, if I could ever if somebody was like, "Here is $10,000 to make a film," I would be like, "Okay, we're going to make a CGI heavy fucking Dig Dug movie where there are giant fucking beasts that roam the prairies and fuck up villages, and then just this asshole fucking jumps up, puts a hose in him, and just fucking blows him up."
Does he hard flex?
Dude, he hard flexes. Good. That's
Gotta
good
get
shit.
that bike pump in there.
But yeah, Pac-Man shit. Everybody knows it. So yeah, Pac-Man sucks. Worst ever. No good news there. If you wanted to watch a Pac-Man show, I'm sorry.
I don't recommend this one.
Nope. So stay tuned for tomorrow when we have Cinema Talks with me, Sleepy Will over here, and our friend Chandler. We're going to go over our top 100 films, and we are going to discuss those. Thank you, and stay tuned.